Happy New Year, everyone. Go ahead and leave a comment for how you would rate your child's ability to focus. Use a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being total space cadet and 10 being focused Jedi. So if we haven't met, my name is Melissa Corkum. I'm a certified life coach and parent coach, bringing you parenting advice that works so you can laugh more and yell less with your kids. I blog at thecorkboardonline.com and host Back Talk at rvntv.tv, which airs every Wednesday at 10 a.m. And there's also an archive there. For those of you watching this on YouTube or Instagram TV, you are invited to join the conversation in my private Facebook group called Essentially Connected. It's easy to find. Just go to thecorkboardonline.com/Facebook. We would love to see you there. So, man, if I had a nickel for every time I bellowed, "Focus!" at my kid, I would literally be rich. The scary thing is that he actually used to be a ton worse. And so I wanted to share today 12 things that we do at our house, sometimes some days better than others, that have really helped him get as far as he has come. And we're not there yet, but we have seen huge, huge improvements. The first thing is mindfulness. You can Google it. There's a ton of research out there about why mindfulness is an important practice. Make it easy for yourself. I love the iPad app called Stop, Breathe, Think. And if you don't have an iPad, there are a lot of other applications out there that you can look for to help your child practice mindfulness. It can be kind of fun. There's also a lot of like YouTube meditations and things like that. The second thing is have your child focus on one thing at a time. Now, we might be thinking we're asking them to do one thing at a time, like do your homework, but we actually want to ask them to focus on the smallest task of whatever it is at a time. And breaking it down into smaller tasks can help them focus because they're not having to use brain power to think about how to break that thing down, in addition to using brain power to focus. So instead of saying, go get ready for bed, I might say, go get your toothbrush and come back. Go put toothpaste on your toothbrush and come back. So things that take a shorter amount of time give your child less time to become unfocused or get distracted. With that, make it a race. See if they can do it quickly. Be playful with it. That helps drive that like sense of adrenaline and focus, right? So I can say, go get your toothbrush and come back. I'm going to time you, right? Then they're like racing around. So like toothbrush, win the race, right? If I just say like haphazardly, hey Ty, go get your toothbrush, like it's not going to register in the same way. We want a certain like brain chemistry thing to go on there. The fourth thing, and this is one of the hardest things, but it has to do with us, and that is be okay with reminders. You know, the end all be all is not that our kids will be 100 independent of themselves. They have to learn how to get accommodations that are going to help them because they may always struggle with focus, and they need to learn how to advocate for themselves and say, hey, could you remind me, or will you help me focus on this? Things like that. So I recommend using visual reminders whenever possible, checklists, pictures of things, things that are visual reminders that are also kinetic. So having like pictures on a Velcro board that they actually move as they're finishing each task. Also set up a nonverbal reminder system with your child. So maybe they have a habit of tapping their pencil when they're working, or looking off into space, right? When they're supposed to be studying spelling words. So you might have like a silly like nonverbal cue that you can get their attention, and you train them to know that that's you reminding them, focus on what you're doing. Fifth is provide proprioceptive input. So our proprioceptive system is our tactile system that tells us how much pressure is being applied to our body. And when we stimulate that system either through weighted vests, weighted blankets, weighted lap pads, compression clothing, that is calming to the body. Chewing gum is another great way to give proprioceptive input. And so that calm can help the brain focus. Number 6, use essential oils. So I specifically love the brand doTERRA, and they have a kid-safe roller bottle that's already diluted and already mixed with the perfect blend of oils to help kids focus. It's called Thinker. But also, if you aren't a doTERRA customer, you can use peppermint, which is known for its mental clarity, or lemon, which is the official oil of focus. Number 7 is supplement. You could Google this too. There are a bajillion ways to do this and a lot of thoughts on it. But I am a big fan of high doses of high quality liquid fish oil for our kids. You'll also see things about maybe vitamin B12, magnesium. You'll also, if you've ever Googled brain stacking, it's a way to stack different amino acids in our brains to help increase clarity and focus and energy. That can be a really interesting exploration too, especially if you're trying to kind of stay away or minimize the amount of pharmaceuticals you're using with your child. Kind of along the same lines, number 8 is feed and hydrate your kids before you expect them to focus. So we want to put them at their absolute best. This also goes with supplementation, right? We want their body to have all the micronutrients, all the things that it could possibly need to set them up for the best success. So we don't want them to be hungry or thirsty. We want to make sure we're feeding our kids well with high protein, high fat snacks and making sure they're really hydrated. This may seem like an obvious one, but remove those distractions. So maybe your child is really sensitive to noise in the room, so you might want to get them some noise canceling headphones or earplugs. They may be distracted visually by things, so they may do best in a smaller space or like just even facing a plain wall so they're not distracted by other things going on around them. Number 10 is try out binaural beats if you haven't heard of them already. The idea behind binaural beats is that you play 2 tones with slightly different frequencies into the ear through headphones usually, and your brain perceives it as a single sound. Depending on the different frequencies used, it's said that this can actually change your mental state. Binaural beats are used for increasing creativity, also sleep, but they can be used for focus. And you want to look for beta frequencies, which I think are like 14 to 30 hertz. There are definitely apps that you can get that have already pre-programmed frequencies, specifically things. So you don't have to know the frequencies, but they'll say, you know, this frequency is for focus or this frequency is for sleep. It seems that Android has more apps for this than the Apple Store. Atmosphere seems to be a really popular one. If you're on Android, Atmosphere has a specific binaural beats app, but there are some binaural beats in the regular Atmosphere app if you're an Apple user. You can also go to the website on any mobile device or any computer or laptop. Go to binauralbeats.app and you can listen to it right there through, I think it's like an embedded sound cloud. Number 11, create consistent routines. So we want to help our kids create some muscle memory for the things that they need to do so that they don't need as much brain power. It's using a different part of their brain. So for instance, there might be 5 steps to your child's bedtime routine. And maybe you've never really paid attention to the order that they've done it in. You know, as long as they get their pajamas on at some point, brush their teeth at some point, use the bathroom at some point, or whatever, you don't, you know, they just have to do all those things. We found with our son, actually having him do it in a certain order, like it mattered, even though it really didn't, helped create this muscle memory, this rut in the road, so that he almost like can't not do it, right? And it took some time and it took a lot of support to get there. But the more consistently we can help our kids do things and help them develop that muscle memory, the better we'll set them up for success. And then lastly, you want to provide things that are high interest. You want to help hone your child's focus when they're actually interested. If you notice that your child's really distracted when they're not interested in something, that's probably not the best measure right now. Focusing on something that you don't like is actually a double skill, right? There's the focus aspect, and then kind of overcoming this idea of self-discipline. So creating self-discipline plus focus is doing something that you don't want to do and staying focused on it. So focus on your child's ability to focus at a high interest item, like playing a video game or playing a game with friends. And that can tell you a lot as well. I did a video right before Christmas talking about video games and how they actually can be helpful for our kids. And they tell us a lot about our kids, and we can actually use them to help grow things like perseverance and that sense of focus and problem solving on top of that. So if you didn't see that video, make sure to go back and check that out. Remember that you are a good mom doing good work. I'd love to hear in the comments which one of these things you think is going to be the most helpful and valuable in your family. And then also, one last thing before I go, I'm going to start something new in 2020. It's going to be kind of this drop-in group coaching program. So you can come in and out as you want, kind of pay as you go, if you will. And I am wondering what times will be best for you guys to be able to come live and interact and work through some of these things and apply them directly to your family. So go ahead and drop me a comment. Let me know what times generally work best for you. And don't forget to include your time zone. So remember, again, Happy New Year. And as always, I can never say it enough. You are a great parent and you're doing great work. Thanks so much for joining me.